Alrighty, good morning, hi families, and welcome to another Cook With Me video. If this is your first time here, I am Miss Michaela, and we are going to be making chicken quesadillas. So some of the materials you're going to need are just some soft tortilla shells, any kind of cheese. So I have just plain cheddar here. You can use Montessori Jack, American, whatever is your preference of cheese. I also have with me some peppers and some onions. I have some butter with me so that it doesn't stick to our pan. I also have as well some pan spray as an alternative. And then I also have some salt and some dried oregano as well for afterwards for some toppings. And that's pretty much the materials you'll need to food-wise, but you can also use avocados, tomatoes, you can also use pretty much whatever your preferences are. We will be using chicken. I do just have it in the fridge until it is time to use. I didn't want it going bad, so I will, when it's time to use it, just run and grab that quickly. Some other things I have is just a cheese grater to help grate some cheese. I have some tongs with me just to help flip it over so I don't burn my fingers. I have just a little butter brush. I have a knife just to help with cutting the quesadillas as well as the chicken. And I just have a plate, a fork, and some napkins for afterwards. Today I will be using a sandwich or a quesadilla press that I have from home. If you don't have one of these, you don't have to. Another great alternative to it is using a frying pan, but you just need to be careful when trying to turn it that you don't burn yourself. So I already went ahead and grated some cheese. So I have some of my cheese grated in here. I am just going to grate just a little more. And now, if you do have a sandwich or quesadilla press, I would just recommend not plugging it in and then doing all of your prep work, because it does tend to get hot pretty quickly. At least the one I have does. Of course, if yours needs time to warm or heat up, then by all means do so. And if we're having our little ones helping us, of course, just be careful if they would like to help grating the cheese, always away from your body. And you just want to be careful of the grater as well, because it is very easy to nick yourself with these. So of course, as always, just be very careful and keep an eye out. Otherwise, there are a lot of things with this recipe that they can help out with as well. So it's all up to you and your family dynamic and your relationship and cooking relationship with your children. So I have some of the cheese grated. I'm just going to be opening up our tortilla shells. And I am just going to put them on our cutting board, and I am just going to now just get the chicken from the fridge. Alrighty, so we have our nice cold chicken. As you can see, the container is frosting, or not frosting, but it's cold. So there we go. So I already have it cut into strips, my chicken, just thin little strips. Sometimes from here, depending on the size of your tortilla shell, you can go and actually cut them smaller. So I just had smaller ones, so that's what I'll be doing, just so we can make some more room. So I'm just gonna move these these off for a bit, and I'm just gonna take some quesadillas. I'll move this out of your way so you guys can see. And I'm just going and I'm just cutting the chicken just into like smaller pieces. And I will be placing that on my tortilla shell. And I'll do another chicken. This is also a great quick snack you can give to your children. So now I'm just plugging mine in. Quick, easy, depending on the materials you use inside of your quesadilla, it's not that big of a cleanup, especially if, like how I grated my cheese into a container. That helps a lot, because then if you don't use all the cheese, you can still pack it away and use for a later time, or for more quesadillas, depending on how hungry our little ones get. So I'm just adding some cheese, and then I got just a little more cheese. I'm definitely a lover of cheese, so I just love loading mine up with cheese. For this one, I'm gonna be adding some peppers. So of course, I went ahead and just cut them into thin strips. Again, because of the size of the tortilla shells, I'm just going to be cutting them just a bit smaller. As well as some great resources include, which will be posted in the comments below afterwards, is Milk Canada. This recipe came from their fajita recipe, as well as we have another link that we will be providing to our families for their 2020-2021 calendar, which it's a free calendar. You just need to subscribe with an email. You don't need to give any payments. So I will be providing that link to you guys. There's a lot of great recipes on their site involving like milk and dairy, and just a lot of nutritious and beneficial recipes. While I just talk more about Milk Canada, I'm just gonna be putting the butter on the quesadilla maker so that it doesn't stick to it or burn while it's pressing. But yeah, so Milk Canada is a great resource. They have a bunch of different options as well. It's not just all food. They have some great healthy smoothies on there as well. So a lot of their recipes, when I was looking throughout their website, is great for kids because in the recipe I'll be sharing with you guys, they give a lot of tips for if you have children helping you, or I know for their one smoothie, they recommend that if you are using strawberries and bananas, that you can actually sneak some spinach or kale in there as a nice little healthy treat, and it will mask, like the banana and the strawberry will mask the odor and taste of the spinach and kale. So I have my quesadilla in here, and I just like to give it a little push once we get going, just so that it all condenses and mushes together. Of course, some people like their quesadillas or their fajitas completely flat. I am one of those people. I like mine just to be all nice and combined together. Some people don't. So if you don't like it, you don't need to push it down just a little bit. Of course, with every Cook With Me video, it is your food preference. So if you don't like peppers, you don't have to put peppers. If you don't like onions, you don't have to put onions. It's not set in stone. It's to your taste buds, it's to your food preferences, and of course your child's food preferences. I mean, it is nice when children like to try food, but you know, sometimes there's just foods that they're not going to want to eat right now, and that's okay. So yeah. So I'm gonna make a different one. I'm gonna be using the onions this time. So during are Cook With Me, I am going to be making 3 different kinds. One's with chicken and pepper, one's with chicken and onion, and one just chicken and cheese, because that's how some people just like their quesadillas. Everybody is different, and that's something else that I love about quesadillas, because you can have them in a group of friends and still adhere to everybody's food preferences, or if somebody has a food allergy, which is great too. That way, nobody feels left out, everyone's included. So, just again with the Milk Canada, if that is something you are interested in, I do recommend that you keep along with our Cook With Me recipes, because I know for myself, I will be showing a few more recipes from that site. So I'm just gonna go and look. Still needs a few more minutes, which is fine. Just gonna add a little bit more cheese. Who doesn't love cheese? Alrighty, and some other things you can have as well. You can have salsa or sour cream with your quesadillas. Of course, as I mentioned before, it's all up to your food preferences and your food taste. So if you're not a big salsa person, you don't have to have salsa with them. Alrighty, I'm just gonna get this one folded and ready to go. And I'll start making the other one quickly. Just gonna give a little peek. So I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it's a nice little crisp golden brown at the top. It's starting to give like a little golden brown effect, almost like a marshmallow when you're making s'mores. Kind of looks like that, which I always think is fun, because although s'mores has nothing to do with quesadillas, it's kind of cool how you can make like food comparisons with things that are total polar opposites. So I'm just gonna get the chicken and cheese one prepped to go. And I believe this should be ready. Just gonna take a peek at the bottom. Almost burned myself, so of course using the tongs, because anything can happen in a kitchen. Oh yeah, that's nice. So I'm gonna put that over there, and I'm gonna plop on some more butter so it does not stick. And I find the butter also helps with creating that golden look as well, giving it that nice texture and taste. So just rubbing that on there. Alrighty, we'll get this one on. And our nice little push down. And one thing I've always liked about quesadillas is, to me, the sound of it cooking is kind of satisfying. So when you are cooking these, you can ask your children, you know, what sounds do you hear? If like the colors, you can ask them the colors of the cheese, the colors of the tortilla shell after it's been cooked. So it went from a whitish beige to a brown in some areas. And of course, if you're using colorful foods like peppers, there's great advantages to cooking with your child. Besides the healthy parts of it, it's all connected in one big circle with their cognitive development, their language development, their sensory development, you know, using their eyes, their ears. What do they smell? What does chicken, cheese, and pepper taste like together? What does chicken and cheese taste like? Is it yummy? Is it okay? Is it gonna be something that's gonna be a favorite of yours? And that's something I've always admired about cooking, is that yes, it's great with portions and measuring and introducing numeracy and other language like that, but it's so much more. It's cognitive, it's language, it's asking questions. So when you are cooking with your children, try and look for those things, because the more we communicate with them, the more we help those parts of their cognitive development and language development and sensory development grow. And it's a nice learning experience that you get to have one-on-one with your child, which is great as well, because you as a parent are your child's very first teachers. And that's something I've always admired about parenthood, because you have these connections with your children, not only as a parent figure, but being their first teacher, that educators don't. So it's a great relationship and a great thing to have. So this one looks ready. It's nice, beautiful golden brown on the side. So I'm gonna plop that one on the plate as well. And of course, just again, going in with our butter for one last time. It's also cool, even if you are using a frying pan, just putting the butter on and seeing it bubble. That in itself is a great learning curve and experience for your children. Why does it bubble? What makes it bubble? You know, like from my container, how it's a solid, the butter is a solid in my container, but it melts and forms into a liquid when I put it on the hot pan or hot quesadilla maker. And just one last final push. Alrighty, so I just have an extra shell. Actually, you know what? We'll make one more. Let's put all of them together because why not? We'll add the chicken, the cheese, the onions, and the peppers. So I'm just gonna cut up some more chicken quickly. And like I mentioned at the beginning, the recipe for this individual cooking with me will be posted after our live segment as a separate post. But for the links for the Milk Canada and the description, I will be posting afterwards in the comment section. So just look out for that, because as I mentioned, it's a really great resource. And then of course, you get, like, just from giving your emails, they actually will send you I believe it's either a paperback or a hardcover, or a hard copy, sorry, of their calendar that has a lot of these great recipes in them. So you can actually just have them with you instead of looking online every single time. But if you'd like to try some cool, different, unique, funky things, I would definitely give that Milk Canada a great shot and a really good look. I know just from trying to find recipes for our Cook With Me segment on there, they do have a section where it is kids' favorites. So I guess they did a poll or some sorts to see what recipes were kids' favorites, and so they made it into like an own little segment. And there's also, you know, they have one about like colorful foods, barbecuing, all of that. So they have like different categories, or you can look at everything at once, which I think is amazing because there's so many great recipes on that site. Let's go and give it a little look. Ooh, it's very nice. And like I mentioned already, the great thing about quesadillas is they are so quick and easy. Look at that, just in the time of talking to you guys, it was already made, already cooked. And our butter one last time. Just giving it a quick little paint job with some butter. There we go. Folding it up and placing it down carefully. There we go. So while that is cooking, I am just going to start just putting some lids on so that the cleanup is a lot easier. And like I mentioned before, the cleanup for quesadillas is very quick, very easy, because majority of what you're using is being used to be cooked. And so they'll be eaten, and that's the cleaning process for it, is being eaten. Other than that, it's not very much. So depending on what my friends here at the Early On would like to use as their toppings, I am going to be leaving these out. I think whenever I cook for people other than myself, I don't like putting the toppings on just in case there are, you know, those allergies or those food preferences. So I am just going to leave them out, and whichever ones they would like to use, they have them available to them. Of course, you know your children better than anyone else. So if you know that they like dried oregano on theirs, or on their quesadillas, or they like salsa and sour cream, then obviously feel free to put it with them. Other than that, it's whatever is just left over. So, you know, just have some cheese falling off or fell out when, you know, when you lift it. Alright, let's give this a look. Be a few more seconds should do it. Should be good. Alrighty. I can tell right now the peppers look so good. I'm gonna unplug this now because we don't need it anymore. And there you have it, 4 different types of chicken fajitas or quesadillas ready to go. So of course, like I mentioned at the beginning and while throughout the cooking, definitely check out the links that we will be posting. You can't get enough of it. They're just such great resources that are just free and available to use, so why not use them? And just like that, the cooking is complete. We're gonna enjoy some nice quesadillas, and please just, of course, look out for those links like I mentioned. Thanks, guys.